I just renewed my driver's license and it literally took 12 minutes from the time I parked my car to walking out the door. And I can't believe how easy things are in Washington. It was not like that at the DMV in California when I was growing up. In classic ADHD style, I didn't actually need to renew it in person, but I had lost the paperwork, so I had no idea where it was. And so I went in person and took the eye test again and took a new picture, and it's good for 9 more years. But at least I'm out and I'm going to go to a little coffee shop or something and get some work done. I didn't stay too long because honestly it was hard editing in the sun and I was just feeling kind of antsy and overwhelmed. I was sad to not take advantage of my time out, but it was better to go edit somewhere I was more comfortable. I started a project a few weeks ago where I am choosing just a couple of my acrylic gouache colors to work in my sketchbook and to use only, in this case, 4 colors, in this case, 5 colors. And I'm only allowed to use those colors except for maybe the details later can be done with colored pencil, like the eyelashes here. And I'm trying to make things look like the color I want them to be instead of the color in the reference image. So this has some discrepancies in the colors, and that's on purpose because I want to be creating something that's in my style, at least is color style. I would say so. I think of style as being the strokes that we use and the way we do our composition, but yeah, why wouldn't color be part of style? So I'm trying to hone in on the colors that really make me happy instead of the colors that are in the reference photo, and to honor what really makes me feel happy. In this case, this is a deep brown instead of a black, and everything else looks pretty similar actually. And I managed to get all the colors with this pretty similar with the colors that I chose and made available to myself. So I finished. I really struggled with her face and like the stiff, she's so stiff looking. So story time. About a year ago, I went and got fitted for a bra at a Nordstroms. I didn't have any bras. I'd made a couple for myself years ago, kind of tankini type things, wear a lot of undershirts, but I didn't have a properly fitted bra. So I went to get measured, and when I went to that Nordstroms to get measured, I discovered that there is a world of couture clothing in Nordstroms that I had never checked. I'm not a fan of malls. I don't like going in malls. They overwhelm me. They're usually indoors, the lighting, the crowds, not my thing. Thrifting, I mean, at least it's just one store, not many, and you kind of go in and out. It's okay. It actually took me many years to get used to thrifting because the smells of the many different clothes all combined, the different detergents, really bugged me, but I did get used to it over time. So yeah, I can do like a thrift store. I love online shopping. That's my favorite, except that you don't get to try it on and you don't know if it fits, which is super frustrating. I had been watching Emily in Paris, and I've spent time making my clothes. I have a book on couture clothing, but until I saw Emily in Paris, and then also started using ThredUp, which has a section for designer. And then a friend of mine told me about the Real. Anyways, I got more information about where you can access very high quality, nice items. Theoretically long lasting, well-made items that can help me reduce my participation in fast fashion. So since gaining all that knowledge, I've been really super interested in designers and getting to know their names, which ones I like, which use colors I like, which use styles, materials that I like. So I've been going to the Nordstrom anytime I'm in an area with one, popping in. It's a lot of fun for me. It's like a field trip to a museum. So we're gonna do that today. You're gonna come along with me after doctor's appointment, and we're gonna go for a little hike. I just finished a doctor's appointment being evaluated, upper cervical spine and lower lumbar spine. I'm having a lot of problems in those areas. The meeting went pretty well, by the way. Like, I feel optimistic. We have a plan in place. At least I have a clearer idea of what's going on and what might be causing the problem. Getting dressed is a little bit complicated this morning because I couldn't decide. Well, it wasn't that I couldn't decide. I wanted to make sure that my outfit could get me into Nordstroms without too many weird stares. And I also wanted to be able to go for a hike. So, like, if I sat down on something, I don't want to worry that I'm going to ruin it. But I want to look nice enough that I don't feel self-conscious about myself walking into a super bougie place. And I'm pretty happy with how things turned out. I think it's very sporty, but I think it's fine. This is the Pacific Northwest. I bet people come in dressed like me all the time. But will they hang out in the fancy section for long periods of time without gaining suspicion? Yeah, maybe not. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I've been off of medications that were making me really tired for, I don't know, a week or so now, and finally starting yesterday, I finally felt like I can do things. I can get up, went on a couple of walks. I couldn't believe the transition. It went from like exhaustion to I can do stuff. So I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I'm taking advantage. I still feel like that today. I still feel like I can do things. I have a lot of energy, and so I'm gonna walk around as much as possible to build up these walking muscles. I want to get my body to feeling more capable, and so I'm going to do the actions I think will lead me to that, and that is taking more walks. Also, being out in nature is just so calming, regulating, healing. I try to do it as much as possible. And it is bright and sunny today and very inviting. I really try not to say it is a beautiful day and then to say something isn't a beautiful day if it's rainy, because I think that creates an association of negativity around the rain. We already have that so much in our culture. I don't need to repeat that to myself. So I try to just talk about the day being inviting, warm, instead of a label like beautiful or nice, which would insinuate that a rainy day is not beautiful or nice. And that's very negative. I really try to avoid that because it's just not a good way to view the weather that's going to be the most frequent in the area that I live in the Pacific Northwest. It smells so good. It smells so sweet right here. And look at these guys. That is soft. So cute. The new growth. Baby. I don't know if I've ever talked about my foot problems on this channel. Some of them are somewhat resolved, like bunions. I've resolved by using barefoot shoes, but I also need some support. Have something that helps with pronation in a couple of my sneakers, but I mostly use barefoot shoes. One of the great things about them is they're really wonderful for travel. You know, they're lightweight. They may or may not provide enough support for the very, very flat sidewalks of certain cities, but they're really wonderful to use while hiking. You get to feel the ground. You get a lot of movement in your feet and ankles that helps build your muscles and makes your feet stronger and makes it less likely that I'm gonna need a lot of support on walking on pavement. Also, my hips usually don't hurt if I'm hiking with barefoot shoes. Now, I just want to say I have had hip pain since my early 20s. So it's not like an aging thing, or, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm getting old. Maybe, or maybe you're trying to function in a world that really isn't built for humans. It's built for cars. So sidewalks are really best made for cars, or if you happen to be a wheelchair user, they're great, but they're not really great for walking individuals who walk bipedally with their legs, especially hypermobile bipedal individuals. It's not a great fit. I also try to keep my toes turned in a little bit because that's better. It's a better gait than like this that hurts your knees. Straight isn't even preferred. That is actually the best way to protect your knees and your hips and everything. I'd say the thing I don't like about these city hikes, there's an airplane, there's what I assume is a lawnmower. There's a lot of noise. By no means exhausted, but I want to stop while I'm ahead. Well, I still have some energy left because I need to drive home, and I need to, well, I don't need to, but I would like to go see some fancy clothes. So I'm getting ready to be done here. All right, we're here. Let's go in. There's so much to see, but I'm just going to share with you a few of my favorite pieces that inspired me in their texture or their color or in some other way. I am somewhat inspired for my own clothing, but I would find it pretty stressful to own a super nice piece of clothing that I had invested a lot of money in, because I think I'd get anxious about making sure that I could maintain it and protect it. And I feel like that would be a lot of pressure. I used to sew, and so I'm really interested in how clothing is put together, and I really appreciate fine workmanship. Look at that. I also like getting inspiration from textures, patterns, to get ideas for my own paintings. Used to be my restructured clothing. For a long time, I really preferred plain clothes, but nowadays I'm actually more interested in things with ruffles or frills or any kind of embellishment, like on some of these Farm Rio pieces. I really like seeing not just how the clothes were made, but also seeing what designs have made it off the runway and into the mainstream, that made it all the way to a Nordstroms, and that people maybe are actually consider wearing, because it's not like a plastic bag or so billowy and poofy that it would weigh you down. I think this is so cool. Look at these knits. Love the see-through thing that's going on. Harry Potter. Found the Eileen Fisher. I'm actually wearing thrifted Eileen Fisher top today. Linen. I also often prefer the color palette in the men's section. I prefer the muted earth tones that are typically, or at least more often, chosen for menswear. I like to shop both sides of the store, men and women, but because most of my shopping is done used, thrifted, online or in person, a lot of times there's not really a lot of options left for menswear, and so I just end up shopping in the women's section. This little purse is by far the most fabulous thing I saw all day. I love the literal interpretation here, very autistic. I love it. I feel seen. I've literally never seen a Jimmy Choo in person before. Also, these shoes, they used to make some like these. This is so weird that they're selling them here in Nordstroms. I love the velvet and all the bling. Fun. Also checking out some of the Skim stuff in person. It always looks super comfy, but I wanted to know what it really is like. Looks like it's cotton, but the lining, it's a polyester lining. It's fairly bumpy. Looking for shorts that I could wear under a dress. Finally, my colors really not showing up in camera. Yeah, that's better. Now it's showing up the color. Why wasn't it showing it up on the other way? Ooh, what is this, underwear? It's in the underwear section. I like to leave before I get really overwhelmed, overstimulated. Before I'm like, oh, I don't want to see anything else. I don't try anything on. At least I've never tried anything on. I don't try not to overdo it. I just got home and I found this. This is so nice. I think my husband might have left it for me. A few days later, I took some of my new updated knowledge to the thrift store. I love thrifting, not just because it's like an environmentally good thing to do, but also because I feel like I can pick out more unique pieces without worrying too much if it's a perfect fit for me. I feel more comfortable taking risks if something is pre-loved and if it is not horribly expensive. I have found plenty of brands like Target or Old Navy at the thrift store that have lasted me a long time and that I've loved. But if I could find some higher end brands that are incredibly well made and I fall in love with them and they could last me a really long time, that would be even better. I'm going to leave you here with a little bit more of me painting my limited palette, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.